Welcome to episode 6 of series 2 of Dalek Bumps Question Time. The Mad Dalek asks, do you think the Dalek's dome cowl should stay? Yes, I think the dome cowl adds a bulkier look to the Dalek's dome section without looking unwieldy, and it actually serves a pretty significant purpose, protecting the Dalek's eye stalk by reducing the chances of it being smashed off in close-range combat. A future Dalek design could tweak the dome cowl to make it smaller, but on the whole it's one of the newer additions to the Dalek design that I like the best. Med Twistery asks, why were the Daleks showcased in the LEGO Batman movie? Why were the Paradigm Daleks specifically chosen to represent the Daleks in that movie? To answer your first question, the plot of the LEGO Batman movie involves all of the most dangerous and destructive villains teaming up to invade a city, so the Daleks were an optimal choice to include in the lineup. As to why it was Paradigm Daleks specifically that were depicted in the movie, despite the fact that Doctor Who itself had already phased out the Paradigm when LEGO Batman came out, this was likely done because the Paradigm Daleks are colourful, and the LEGO movies are very colourful movies. The Paradigm Daleks, bearing a resemblance to large action figures themselves, were the ideal choice to depict in toy form for this movie. It's also nice that they got one last hurrah before their premature retirement. Trench asks 3 questions. Question 1. What are your other favourite Doctor Who monsters outside of the Daleks? Easily the Cybermen. They're a fantastic idea for a monster, being an emotionless automaton that is also the remains of a human being, and there is a lot of potential in the Cybermen that Doctor Who has not fully explored yet. It has come close on occasion, but really the Cybermen deserve a setting in which the true horror of their nature, as living things converted into soulless machine creatures, can be properly illustrated. My favourite Cyberman design is probably the Cyber Neomorphs from 82, but I also really like the Telos Cybermen, the Cyber Cybermen, the Cyber Warriors, and Ashad. The Mondasian Cyberman design is also fantastic, with the skull-like cloth faces, hollow eyes, and cold human hands. It's wonderfully creepy. Question 2. Do you prefer Classic Who or New Who? This is a difficult question. Classic Who and New Who both have distinct strengths, and often the successes and failings of one iteration will be offset by the successes and failings of the other. Essentially, they are two sides of the same coin, two very different interpretations of the format, style, and tone of Doctor Who, making it difficult to choose a favourite because I love them both so much. In terms of raw story, I prefer the Dalek and Cyberman episodes of Classic Who, but in terms of execution, the New Who Dalek stories are superior. My favourite Doctors are split between Classic Who and New Who, although Big Finish plays a big role in elevating the 6th and 8th Doctors. I'm also nostalgic for various eras of both versions of Doctor Who, the 3rd Doctor, early 4th Doctor and 7th Doctor stories for Classic Who, and the 9th, 10th and 11th Doctors eras for New Who. Honestly, in terms of sheer story writing quality, I think the Big Finish audios have the edge over Classic Who and New Who, but since Classic Who is where it all started, I'll pick Classic Who. Nothing beats a good John Pertwee action thriller. And question 3. What is your favourite TARDIS team? My favourite TARDIS team is a bit out of left field, but it's the 12th Doctor, Bill, Nardole, and sometimes Missy from Series 10. The dynamic of this team is impeccable, and I wish we had more time with them. Series 10 is one of my favourite seasons of New Who, and this TARDIS team is a big reason as to why. I love the 12th Doctor, he's incredible. Capaldi is fantastic, and the completion of his arc in Series 10 is masterfully done. Bill is also a great companion. She's in a similar situation to the 9th Doctor in that, whilst I really wanted to see more, her appearance in the single series that she got is such a pure distilled essence of the character that the series actually works better as a standalone entity, if you consider it to be Bill's story. And Nardole is, well, Nardole. Perfection. Series 10 also has a great series arc with Missy, one of the best series arcs in Doctor Who history, because it focuses on a sincere development in the relationship between the Doctor and the Master. It's gripping. Missy's back and forth, wanting to gain the Doctor's trust but also being tempted by her own ways, which all culminates in the magnificent World Enough and Time and the Doctor falls. It's perfect. Series 10 is great, the TARDIS team is great, Missy is great. It's all just great. And for our last question today, the Dalek Time Controller asks, out of all the Dalek Emperors, which is your favourite, in terms of both character and design? I like the designs of all the Dalek Emperors, especially the original Classic Who Emperor and the Gold Dalek Emperor from the comics, but in terms of both design and characterisation, my favourite Emperor has to be the one from Series 1, the so-called God of all Daleks. Everything about this Emperor is perfect, the grandiose throne room-esque design, the booming voice, the typical arrogance and megalomania, and the behind-the-scenes aspects, such as the miniature used for the casing and the visceral mutant prop. He may not have been the true God of all Daleks, but he was certainly the best Emperor Dalek in terms of character and design as far as I'm concerned. And that brings us to the end of another episode of Dalek Bumps Question Time. Leave your answers to these great questions in the comments below.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to
Dalek Bumps.